Welcome to the 290 Mo podcast. I appreciate your time. If you could introduce yourself to my viewers and listeners.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's Not a Most High. You can follow me on Instagram at Not a Most High. I got a new project, NV2, coming soon. And yeah, shit, that's me.
Okay, for sure. Definitely appreciate you pulling up. Shout out to my homie Melly, you know what I'm saying? So she let me know that you was somebody that I need to talk to. And with my platform, what I like to do, I like to get as much of the full story as I can in this little amount of time.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, we're gonna start from the top, then we're gonna work our way to where we at right now. So where you from? Where you grew up?
I grew up out south, Chatham, 79th area. I've been there my whole life, shit. And from there, I just started branching out throughout the city once I went to high school, because I went to high school up north. So once I did that, my life kind of shifted for the better in a sense where if I would have ended up going to like a neighborhood school, like who knows what type of person I would have been.
Well, up north, like Lane, Texas, or like farther up north?
Oh no, Lane was not too far, but further up north side, College Prep.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, but Lane was in that area. That was like the type of network of high schools we used.
I went to high school northwest side of Chicago. I went to Forum.
Okay, yeah, I heard it for him.
Yeah. I'm sure. So that's what's up. So coming up in Chatham, you know what I'm saying, south side of Chicago, it's a lot of things for people to get into. What was your aspirations growing up? Like, what did you aspire to be like as a shorty?
But I really like, if I'm being honest,
Be honest, you know what I'm saying?
it's so random. No, being honest, I was just very imaginative as a kid. Like the shit that I wanted to be wasn't like realistic. Not that it wasn't realistic. Like I literally used to tell my family, like, oh, I want to be a hitman, like an assassin.
Oh man,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, shit, hey.
Yeah, but like, in a cool way. But that's because I grew up playing a lot of video games.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
But so I thought that
To
shit
this
was cool.
day.
Yeah,
But-
nah, for real. So I'd be like, yeah, I wanna do that. Like, and then I used to play Hitman on the game a lot. Like how you be slick, run up on a nigga.
Yeah, that's my girl play.
Yeah, so I that was like what it. But then realistically, like I always been very nerdy as well. So I wanted to do like more medical, psychology, and so that's what I went to college for. And but now, the older you get in life, you realize like I don't truly aspire to work. Like like I want to do work
For
and
sure.
make money and have multiple streams of income and live my life.
I want to enjoy my job.
Yeah, I want to enjoy life, and it's like currently I enjoy my job, but in a way where it's like I'm happy I'm doing this. It's good, but ultimately I just want to make music,
Yeah,
money on my music, and just do that.
I enjoy my job because it finances what I do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
but I definitely can't wait until I don't need that step. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Now that's what I tell
That's
people.
definitely the goal.
Cause motherfuckers try to do that whole starving artist. I'm not trying to do that.
That's tough.
Right, that's tough.
That's
That's
tough.
hard. I like to live a certain way. I like to do certain things. I like to travel. And then music ain't cheap. Like if anybody told you
For
music
sure.
cheap, they probably doing it wrong.
And it ain't free shit if you doing it right.
Especially hell, the artists down there spend more money than they make all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Facts.
Everybody else, cameraman get their money. Hell, even the security at the venue getting their money.
Distro kid get their money, all that shit.
You may or may not get your money depending on where you at and what spaces you in. So yeah.
For sure. So, it's what was the college experience like? Like you went for some major shit. Like was it like pressure? Was it a breeze? Like what was it like in that atmosphere?
So academic wise, like that's always been a breeze for me. So that part was a breeze. I think because I ended up double majoring. I did a psychology major and criminology major. Then I minored in a language, and
yeah, you real smart. You can do language for sure.
no, yeah, but like I said, that's cool. I wouldn't have been thinking about trying to learn other languages till I went up north to a school where they was like drilling shit down your throat, like you gonna do this, you gonna do this, da, da. But I appreciate it. But with school, I ended up going to a private university, Valparaiso University. It wasn't too far off. It was Indiana.
Yeah, I know some people went there.
Yeah, nah, it was a PWI, so you know how that go. But ultimately, I chose.
My baby mama went there.
Really?
Yeah, she old though.
Oh yeah, I graduated 2021.
She like pushing 40.
Hey, you never know with that
Yeah,
shit.
she fine.
Right. But yeah, no, I chose it based off, money, obviously, the scholarship I got. Because I wasn't trying to be like, oh, this is my... I didn't have a dream school. I just knew that I wanted to go to school and do more.
Right.
But I didn't have, like, some people like, I want to go there, or their family pushed them to go somewhere. Shit, I was the first one to go to college in my immediate family. Like, I got other family members that, but, like, out of me and my brothers, I was the only one. And, well, I had one brother. He went to NIU for, like, a year, but he didn't continue. But, yeah, no, so being there, it was, like, all the black people end up knowing each other because it was a PWI and it was a small school. So it's already a little bit of people and then that. So in a way, it was pros and cons to that. Like on one end, the shit was really weird. It was like, you know, you had like racial shit going on. Or it was like either motherfuckers was racist or like that awkward nice that white people do. And it's like, yeah, but you meet your tribe, you get your people, and shit. I appreciate it. I utilize the facilities and all the advantages to like anything to my advantage. So
For sure.
it was smooth. But if I could do it again, I definitely would have went to HBCU.
That's crazy. You just answered every question I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you about the racial tension. Would you ever went to HBCU over that?
Yeah, because I got into I think I got into Hampton and somewhere else.
Why did you do Valparaiso? Just because of the
The
distance?
scholarship.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah, cause like sometimes the HBCUs don't be giving the money, like they don't be giving it to you. But the PWI facilities was decent. Like when I talked to my my peoples that went to other schools, they dorms was having some little issues. I ain't had to deal.
Let me stop acting like I know what PWI mean.
It's predominantly white.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure.
Okay.
Right, oh, sure. Let me know something, bro. I'm sure they. But somebody asked me about one of these questions. Oh, sure.
Like, shit, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, bro. So yeah, that's definitely an experience I ask everybody about, you know what I'm saying, no matter what school they went to, because that's something that I didn't experience. So I like try to, you know what I'm saying, gauge, you know what I'm saying, what's it like for everybody, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Overall, I'm appreciative.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I could have not had that experience.
I went to Job Corps. I call it college with a curfew. That shit was fun.
It's about college with curfew.
That shit was busting.
As long as you got people in there and you get somewhere from it, you get something out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I always tell people like, shit, just do what you do. Do what's best for you. Shit.
So I asked you about your aspirations coming up. What was you listening to, you know what I'm saying, musically in the household? What was you a fan of? What was OG playing on the weekends when y'all cleaning up the house?
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
we listen to everything, and that's like, in terms of R&B, you got Kim, you got like obviously the typical shit, SWV, this, that, and the other. Like, so a lot of R&B. My daddy played a lot of like Marvin Gaye, shit like that. Al Green, fucking, a lot of funk, like Bootsy Collins and shit like that. Obviously Prince, Michael Jackson. So a lot of old classic individuals. And then in terms of rap, my dad was big on DMX, so hella DMX. I went through all the hip hop eras, like
DMX, the GOATs.
Yeah, and then my brothers are old as hell. Well, I ain't gonna say old as hell because I don't want.
Hold on, wait a minute, because I ain't too young with them. So.
I don't want to make nobody feel bad, but for me being the youngest sibling, it always felt like, damn, these niggas like uncles or like they all thought they was my daddy, had to act, but like Bone Thugs and Harmony and shit like that. Like, all type. Like, we literally listen to everything. And then obviously typical shit. Me personally, I gravitated towards shit like Wayne, Jeezy, Then I also had like my own weird side. Everybody got that little weird emo side. Sure. So I definitely had a lot of rock bands.
Panic at the Disco side.
Yeah, Panic at the Disco, System of a Down, So I literally like had a lot of influences because I got 4 older brothers. So everything that they liked and listened to.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, okay. So you know some shit. Yeah.
So like I'm well rounded when it comes to music. And then with me, I'm just an explorative person. So I would listen to all the shit they did, and then I was just going around finding everything. Especially because I'm in the era where that's when the internet really was getting started and shit. Like I was born in '99, so from there. So yeah, I listen to everything.
So it sounds like you went, pretty much on like the regular path, coming up, When did you really, start to express yourself artistically? Like, do you remember like when you first started, like in no matter what form it was?
Honestly, since I was like that one kid that like I always was myself. Like I never and that's why I be cool with everybody because no matter where I'm gonna go, I'm gonna be myself. I'm not gonna try to mimic you or this, that, and the other. And like ever since I was little, I was doing poetry, like as early as 3rd grade. I was doing like oratory contests, like doing poetry contests and shit like that. Me and my brothers, we always freestyle, we always rap. So in the crib, everybody would be doing a cipher or whatever, and I just be rapping with them. My clothes, I always like to dress however like fit me, like wearing like rings, jewelry, or just like mixing and match. But at the same time, I still had a lot of influences. Like I said, like I'm probably gonna keep saying that shit from my brother. So I was still heavy on like mics and trues and this, that, and the other. So like I had all those pieces of those different Chicago personalities and influences. But at the same time, I was still like always weird in my own way. So. like my brothers be like, why you listen to this? Why you dressing like that? Da, 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 like getting all that stuff. So yeah, ever since I was little, literally, like I guess being the youngest sibling, it allowed me the space to just be. So it was easy for me to always express myself. And then yeah.
For sure, for sure. So, what was it? If you don't mind me asking, you know what I'm saying, what was like your parental support system like? You know what I'm saying? Were they like they want you to go in a certain direction? Did you know what I'm saying? Or was it?
Well, like honestly, when it comes to like with the whole parenting side of things, like my mom was like the breadwinner. She like worked a lot. My dad, he was a veteran, but he had like mental issues, so he then couldn't keep a job because he couldn't keep his hands to himself. He couldn't control his anger. You know, he drank a lot and stuff like that. But like, rest in peace to him. He was still a great dad. He was a great dad. Like when he was around, he was good, and when he wasn't, he just wasn't there. And my mom, on the other hand, she she thorough. She a go getter. Like she always worked, and she was more so like a parent that was more materialistic. Like every Saturday we getting the mics. Like we there. We getting it. It wasn't no question like that. But it wasn't a very like family oriented household or like affectionate household. It was more so like her job was to go to work, make sure we straight. Our job was make sure when she came home the crib was clean or you getting your ass beat. Well, not me. That was their ass. I made sure I stayed on point. But yeah, like it was more so just like it was structured, but it was loose in a sense where she wasn't like, cause she didn't go to college, so she wasn't like, oh, you gonna do this, you gonna do that. As long as your grades was good, police went at her door, schools wasn't calling her phone, everybody was free to do whatever. So that was kind of how that was. But when my dad was around, he was very strict and like a military dad. But at the same time, yeah, it was like that. So mostly I would say like my brothers really was like the ones really doing the raising, like telling you what's right from wrong, what to do and things like that. So yeah, she was more so at work, home.
For sure, I definitely understand. I'm sure that's why I tell you, my OG was there 100%, but she was just she was getting the money.
Yeah, you know and I always like to say that a certain way because you never want to come off ungrateful.
Yeah, for sure.
Disrespectful.
I'm sure.
Like no, she was doing what she had to do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially like once my dad was out the picture, and but yeah, and then with having brothers, they you know how that they gonna be on you regardless. So
bro, I'm sure. Yeah, so you was good, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I want to know if you don't mind me asking, you know what I'm saying? After we talked about the college experience, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people after college, you know what I'm saying, regardless of how it ends, graduation or they drop out for whatever reason, they find themselves like in a stalemate or not knowing exactly what they want to do. What was your experience like after school, or are you still currently in?
So right after I graduated, you know, of course, you always feel like you got it figured out. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this, do that, da da da. So like when I graduated, COVID hit. So graduation was already weird. I didn't go to my graduation because it was either you can go in person or do a virtual. I went on a trip with the girl I was fucking with at the time, and it was on Zoom right there, and I was drunk as hell chilling. Like, it was cool. But afterwards, my first job was at a mental hospital. And it wasn't necessarily what I like, oh, that's what I want to do, but shit, it was a job, and it was paying more than if I did anything else or whatever. And I was doing that, and I was just happy that it was in the field or the realm of what I studied. But it definitely was times where I'm like, what is it gonna be that I done paid this money for this degree, I done spent this time, what is it gonna lead me to that's really gonna, you know, give me a salary? Like that was my goal, like getting a salary paying job. And I was grateful that, like, I ended up moving because I never stayed in Valpo after college. After college, I ended up going to Champaign, like, out there by UFI. And that's because, like, the person I was fucking with at the time, she went to UFI. And they had a lot more jobs for my field. So I just ended up getting a crib out there. It's cheap as hell out there. So I went out there, started working at a mental hospital. And that sustained me for a while. But then I ended up lucking up and switching to, like, more social work. Like, now I work with, like, for the state, like, with foster care and shit like that.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. Does working in a mental hospital fuck with your mental?
Not, well, it can, but not me. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, in a way, desensitized. Like to a lot of things. Like, I know how to compartmentalize my emotions very well. And then also, like, growing up, like, like I may not have been a part of like no street life or no crazy shit like that, but like the forces around me and things like that, like witnessing that, or like even the negative parts of the household, like whatever childhood trauma that I harbor, it put me in a position where like shit don't really phase me, and not in a way where like it's cool, like because obviously that's like actually emotionally disruptive, but I don't really like. I would see people doing all type of shit in those hospitals, and like some of my coworkers would be, "Oh, I need a break," or "This just stress me out." And me, I'm just like on to the next thing, like, and that's a gift and a curse about
Yeah,
myself.
for sure.
But I don't. It don't really affect me. So but that's why I like the field, because I feel like I can effectively do my job without it.
Yeah, for sure.
Me.
Yeah, for sure. And it definitely takes, you know what I'm saying, a special, you know what I'm saying, a special superpower to handle, you know what I'm saying, situations like that. Because I can already imagine, like, me seeing some shit like, I quit, goddamn.
Nah, because it's different levels to it. You
Right,
got people who eating their own shit. You got motherfuckers who banging their head against the wall till it bleed. You got motherfuckers trying to do anything to cut themselves, you know.
Trying to cut you, goddamn.
Yeah, trying to cut you. But like I said, I'm one of the people that I really be cool
punch
with
him up.
Nah, but honestly, you... I ain't even
You can get away with nothing.
I was just saying, hey,
Ain't like they can tell on you.
the rooms ain't got no camera. Right, who gonna believe them or me? Stop it, they be flagging me. They gonna be, yeah, so we saw.
What she said she worked there again?
Right. Nah, but yeah, it's definitely a lot. Like, I done seen some people break down or just be like, fucking I quit. Shit. You know?
For sure. Now, DCFS, before we get into what you currently got going on now, I don't know exactly what position you work in. Is that a stressful job as well? Cause
that one actually stressful.
I be seeing shit like shit happening with kids, and then they booking DCFS workers because they missed something and shit like that. So it's like, that's y'all got like 30, 60 kids or one person type shit. So
that's what makes the job stressful. Because I'm not in a position where I'm involved, because I don't work for DCFS. I work for a company, but I'm not going to disclose the company. But I work for a company that's partnered and contract through them. And yeah, I don't do any taking the kids, so don't start that bullshit. Cause you know, as soon as some people hear that you work for them, they be like, "Oh, you be taking." I don't do no taking. I'm on the end of the stick where I'm trying to get motherfuckers back to their people, or just in a better predicament overall. And yeah, sometimes it was a time where I had a 50 caseload, 50-person caseload, and it's not just about the kids. You gotta work for everybody. I gotta make sure the parents straight, the kids straight, foster parents. You gotta go to court. You gotta like really be valid with everything you say and do, because your ass could go to jail. A kid fuck around and die, and you supposedly went to go see them, checked in on them, and you lying and you didn't do that shit, your ass going to jail.
For sure.
Or, you know, all that. But, like I said, it fun what I gotta do.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I seen some shit on the internet the other day, man. This lady, she was like a daycare worker, and she grabbed the little boy by his arm, picked him up, and sat him in the chair, and they booked her ass.
Damn. What he get, like that nursemaid elbow?
He didn't say nothing. Somebody was watching the cameras and saw it and called the police. White lady, PWI.
Oh, PWI.
Oh, sure. I'm talking about like just how you supposed to grab a little black boy though. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing about it, like, cause like the job versus my upbringing. Sometimes I'll be talking to people and they'll be like, "Yeah, he just won't listen." I be wanting to say, "Man, whoop his ass," but then I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do that. This I'm not the one that's supposed to say that shit.
Call this number.
Right, yeah. But yeah, that shit is stressful. But ultimately, I balance it well. And shit, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make sure, you know, everything coming in smooth, so I can keep pushing this music, doing what I do.
For sure. So let's get into that. Let's get into the music. First of all, Most High. Talk to me about that. What's the name? Because what that relates to me is my Israelite brothers. That's what they call God. They be like Most High. You know what I'm saying? So what that mean to you?
So for me, like, yeah, just like you said, that's what they call God. And the reason why I put it in my name and not a Most High is because I always felt as if, you know, God is within you. Like we are like God. Like we are.
Facts.
You know, like we are God. And I always felt that way. Like ever since a kid, I'd be like, I am God. I am God. And not like in a way where disrespectful to other people. I'm trying to say God of you. Like, no, but in my life, like, I'm the most powerful thing that pushes everything in my life. And when it comes to religion, I'm pretty religiously explorative, like, because I like to learn. I learned about everything. I grew up in a household that was, you know, my dad side of the family and him follow Islam, and then my mom, she's one of the people that she was spiritual, but my grandmother was a Christian, so we'd go to church for her and stuff like that. Like my grandma, her church over on 72nd and Dorchester, so we'll be over there all the time. So I learned about that a lot, and then overall, me personally, I'm a spiritual individual in the sense where, I learn about anything. Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, but ultimately it's about just having that inner power and that inner God in you, and just knowing that you really have the power to change your life and push your life. And that's how I move. I don't let anything kind of move me. I just kind of, I know that ultimately I got to listen to myself. I got to trust in myself, and that, God is real and God is in the world. And, you got to find a way to connect. And that's kind of the best way I can put it without we're trying to be short and not take all day and have a whole conversation.
For sure. I definitely smell what you stepping in.
Yeah.
So
just touching on it.
For sure. For sure. So let's get into this music. With your background, your background in the school and all that. If you could describe to us, what kind of music you make.
I always say I make music for niggas that fuck up sometimes, but they always trying to do better. Like, it's realistic. I'm very honest in my music. You're not gonna listen to my music and hear a lie. I do a lot of storytelling, not in a way where it's just like, some songs you can just tell that it's a story, but my projects, I like to shape the projects to tell a story and be very thematic. Traditional hip hop, I'm big on, like I said, growing up I listened to a lot of, traditional hip hop, Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, this, I watch battle rap, all things like that. So I'm big on bars, punchlines, metaphors, but also flow and being entertaining and really getting into that. And, talking about real life shit that, like, is real to me and, like, the average person. Like you said, I went on a pretty straight path of life. So I'm not going to make music that's talking about some shit that I didn't do or trying to be overly violent or preach something. Like, no, I talk a lot about, my family and experiences, like my brother's mental health or, how my journey with going through therapy and just learning how to be emotional and vulnerable and open about myself. And, I just speak on that type of shit that people go through, like, relationship with money and just trying to be more financially stable, things like that. Like, real life shit that everybody can experience those hardships and not anything. It's very authentic overall is what I say. It's authentic to me, and I think people, when they listen to it, they like, yeah, this real shit. And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna bullshit and try to be something I'm not.
That's dope. Cause it sounds like I come from your brother era. So I love hip hop. I love storytelling. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely my type of music. And I feel like it's not dying, but I feel like a lot of artists be like afraid to do that, or I don't know if it's just that hard. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's a lot of bullshit out here. You know what I'm saying? I like stories and music.
Yeah, I don't think it's hard. I think bullshit is just easy.
Like I heard the boss man D-Lo explaining like why his songs getting shorter and shorter. Like, I hate making one.
It's like, short attention span, click stuff. But that shit,
I'm just thinking like, that ain't for me. I'm not one of them people.
I look at that shit like it's cool. Like, if I'm drunk,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's right.
I'm gonna bounce to the same shit. Right. But in terms of what I'm playing in my car, what I'm listening to, if I'm working out on my headphones or if I'm walking, whatever the case may be, it's gonna be something of substance. Because the way I look at music, that's like, it's like Hot Pockets. It's like some quick microwavable shit. Like, it's here today, gone tomorrow. Like, it's not gonna last. Ultimately, people always come back to real music.
For sure.
Like, even nowadays, like how many times you want to listen to a nigga talk about some shit that you ain't got? This nigga talking about cars you ain't never even seen or drove. You and this bitch struggling. You on your last leg, and you want to hear somebody bragging or a motherfucker that's there that diss you. Like, you want to work, you lame as hell, you broke. You like,
yeah, shorty, I'm grown as hell. Taking my
you going to work and shit, feeling bad. Like, no, you want to hear somebody that's really talking about something, And I think being around so many people that, for the people that I was around, it wasn't cool to have that bullshit type of music.
For sure.
So for me, it never felt cool to do that. But I've definitely been in situations where, like, it'll be a show and somebody who either put me onto the show or like gonna be on the show with me, they've said something like, oh, these, like, the crowd and the people that's here, they like that turn shit. Like, maybe you should play one of your songs that's more like this. And I'm like, no, I do my songs that I know is like I know how to connect with the crowd. Like I got great stage presence and crowd control. I'm not going, oh, these people like this type of music. Let me play something with some hard 808s. Like, no, I'm going to start it off slow how I want. Any set list, you can give me 5 minutes to perform, 10 minutes to perform, 20, 30, whatever. It's going to always tell a story. It's going to start off slow and build up and move with it. And, like, I'm passionate about it. And I feel like I've truly never got a bad response from the crowd. I always get my respect. People always fuck with it. And people always appreciate it because it is what it is. It's good. And I'm not going to change that just to be catchy, You can make something that's listenable and that's catchy to people, but it can still be good. I'm not going to dumb it down. I'm not going to be like, oh, let me get on this type of beat because it's popping or this or any other. Because why would I want to sound like everybody? It's already oversaturated. It's hella rappers.
That's the main thing I say. If I like, if you sound like somebody I already listen to, it's a good chance. It's a good chance.
Like, why do that?
Like, I definitely understand paying homage, bro. But you know what I'm saying? You got to be yourself at the end of the day. Because that
motherfuckers be like, it's two different things. Like, you can ask my musical influences, and then if you go back and listen, at least I hope, you can find like, okay, I see these influences now. Some niggas, you ask them their influences, and they be like, oh, so you just copied them. Like, they sound exactly like them.
All the YNs just like that. Shit. Them my niggas though, on shorty. So yeah, wow. Let me get your opinion. You know what I'm saying? After you just spoke on, like, you know what I'm saying, being at the shows and people saying this and that. Give me your overall opinion on your peers in the industry that you're a part of. You know what I'm saying? This, when you're at the shows and you bumping shoulders at the studios and passing information, what's it like interacting with your peers in this industry?
I think it goes two ways. Well, it can go any way. Like, on one end, I think currently I've been finally in the place, because I've been making music since 2019. And releasing music. I've been making music like forever, but like I started releasing music in 2019. And I think in the beginning it was hard for me to find like kind of my tribe or my space. Like, I would go to any show just so I can get my name out there, get my sound out there. And those are times where, you kind of get some weird energy, maybe people are competitive. I think in places where people are a little less talented, usually they're very competitive because they have that crabs in a bucket mentality. But now I'm at a place where I'm going into spaces where everybody kind of own their shit, like, and they own their sound, and it's a lot more love in those rooms because it's like they confident in what they do. They understand what they do is not the same as I do, and I understand it's not the same as what they person does. So there are a lot of talented people in the underground, like, industry and realm, and I like a lot of times on my day to day I'm listening to those artists more than I'm listening to mainstream artists.
Thanks.
So when I look at my peers, I think there is a lot of talent. There is a lot of people who are unique and got their own skill set. But then there's another side of it where, regardless of how many people like them or not, there's obviously gonna be people who make bullshit, but they get a little cocky and shit like that. I don't do that ego shit, like the big rapper egos and stuff.
I call it Hollywood. They be Hollywood.
Yeah, and they be like, nigga, the fuck is you? Like, I don't like that shit. But and I'm also not like I'm more so peep scene, and I talk when I feel like talking. Like, I don't like when there's some people that's like overly extra.
Yeah, me too, sure.
Like, come on now. And a lot of times
got a story for everything. They always come on like,
yeah, you like, damn, just know everything. Everybody. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't like when me personally, I don't care how popular somebody is. If we click, we click. If we don't, we don't. If I like your shit, I like your shit. If I don't, I don't. But I'm not gonna overly talk bad about somebody. I'm not gonna say, oh, that shit weak or whatever. If it's weak, I'm gonna keep it to myself and think it. Like, you don't have to say everything that you think. You don't have to interact with everyone. You have to have discernment in this music shit with who you network with and who you wanna, be around and stuff like that. I don't want to be misaligned with anything that doesn't really fit me and my vision and my character. So, you can have as many followers and streams as you want, but if we just ain't here, then we ain't here, and that's just what it's gonna be. And I don't force shit, but overall, there's a lot of talent out there.
For sure, for sure. Let's jump back real quick to the to yourself. You spoke on having like a poetry background. So talk to us about your creative process. You know what I'm saying? Are you still a writer? Are you freestyling? You punching in and out? You recording yourself? What's it like when you making that shit happen?
Okay, so one thing is, well, I don't record myself. I could, and I think this year I'm gonna start like branching out to just practice that. I wouldn't release that stuff, but just to sharpen that
Right, for
skill
sure.
set, just to have it in the toolbox. But I enjoy the collaborative process. So my main producer that I work with is Tarzan Phoenix, and we his beats, that nigga makes everything. So ultimately, I gather different. There's two ways I write. I write and freestyle. Anybody that knows me, they know me as a dope ass freestyler. Like that's some shit that anybody in my life, they knew that I was gonna eventually make music because they've seen me freestyle before. Like I was a motherfucker at the lunch table doing my own beats and rapping at the same time. If we want to play around, battle, whatever the case may be, like I do all that type of shit. But when it comes to making music, it depends on the vibe of the track and the song in terms of if I'm going to freestyle on it or not. Sometimes I'm in the studio and I always have things planned out like, okay, I want to get this stuff done. But once I get all that stuff done, I got time to fuck around. Then I'll probably get on the track, punch in and out, stuff like that. But I don't really do that. With writing, I usually hear a beat and I freestyle to it before I even put pen to paper. And I'm like, once I find something catchy, or I'm like, okay, this is how I'm gonna go about it and approach the song, then that's when I start the writing process. And from there, I always kick out my first verse. Then I go into a hook, and then I wait a long time, and usually I either will freestyle the second verse, or I will start just write it. But I stopped freestyling on songs that I released like 2023, and that was just because with freestyling, and when I say freestyling, I know people say like free of verse, it means just saying different things. But when I use the term freestyle, I'm thinking of off the dome. So when I say that I freestyle, I mean like off the dome spitting. And I stopped doing that because when you're going off the dome, things can get random. And me personally, I like organizations in my song. Like, you ever hear a song, like the song is named one thing, the hook is about another thing, and then the verse is talking about all type of shit. So it's literally like, what the fuck is this song about? Yeah, it ain't got no structure, but like, I keep it all together. Yeah. So that's kind of my process. And I also don't force writing. Like when I'm working on an EP, I'm not gonna be like, I gotta get this done by this day, I gotta drop it, because I always tell myself like, you wanna come up, you moving up. You don't have nobody calling you saying, hey, you gotta drop by next week, da da da. And I prefer to give quality over a bunch of weak shit, like just a quantity, And yeah, so I don't force my writing process. If I feel like writing, I'm gonna write, and if I don't, I don't, because when you force it, it comes off that way, in my opinion.
For sure. That's dope. Definitely a dope story. Let's talk about what you got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? What you got going on right now as far as the music. We was talking about a little bit about your podcast as well. You know what I'm saying? If you could touch on those things.
Yeah, okay, so music-wise, I have a EP that's already done and ready. I'm just getting visuals done for it. Once the visual's done, then press the button and drop that. But that's called Narcissistic Volume 2. But I'm marketing it as NV2. Part 1 came out in 2020. And and that project is more so about being like, it's in the name, but it's personal stories. So everything about that is more focused on personal stories rather than just making songs to make songs for people to enjoy. People will enjoy them, but it's very personal. I do have my own podcast, and that's strictly for fun. I am not trying to be a podcaster. People be like, sometimes hit me like, how I get on this? And I'm like, literally, I just gotta want you to do it,
That's a
Yeah, and I'm like, it's called Most High Presents Bars at the Bar. Most High Presents is my brand of just like all things me, and Bars at the Bar is a part of that brand. And yeah, you come down. It's downtown at Moxie at the hotel. I got a podcast booth. You come down, I buy you a drink or two. We chop it up at the bar real quick just to get somebody comfortable, and then not like that. That sound wrong.
So you already downtown, you know what I'm saying?
Get a little loose. And then, nah. But then, yeah, you go in the booth and it's completely freestyle. I just started talking to him. It's just a conversation, but that's my way to network. Because like I said, when I'm out and about, it's loud as fuck. Somebody get off stage, I might have thought, damn, he was wrong. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow him and then hit him up like, hey, man, I fuck with your sound, da-da-da. Like, you want to come down to the podcast? And that's because I enjoyed whatever it was about them. And I think that, hey, we can connect, get to know each other, and then maybe he produced something for me, or we do a collab, a feature, whatever. But it's not one of those things where you can hit me up and be like, hey, I'm trying to get it, because it's not supposed to be about like it benefits us to elevate our platform, but it's not supposed to be like, oh, I'm trying to get on some interviews and do podcasts and things like that, because it's like, nah, it's more so if I fuck with you, then we gonna talk.
What made you start doing it?
When I started being around Moxie, like my shorty, she started working up there, and I was in there, and I was like, damn, this shit decent. They got a whole booth in here. So I just started, talking to the people there, and I'm like, yeah, let me utilize this. And ever since then, as soon as they said yeah, it was just a go. I just started bringing on my homie, hey, come up here and do an episode, whatever. And like I said, it's the way for me to network, because I'm not always good with talking to people at the shows, because, it just be bullshit conversation. Yo, you killed that shit. Yeah, you too. Yeah. On Instagram, yeah, I got you. It just be so scripted. Sure. It just be like automated. But yeah, so I do that, and then this year I'm just trying to keep performing more and kind of get out there more. Like we both was talking about that, like just trying to be out and about it a little bit more to get myself out there, get my sound out there. I'm gonna do under my brand, Most High Presents. I did a cipher, it's like a running on collective thing. It's called like MHP Collective, Most High Presents, and then it's a collective, and it's not like a set group or anything like that. It's more so like I gather a group of artists, we do a few things together, and then now I'm gonna gather another group of artists, and we did a cipher called the Culture Cipher, and it's in a barbershop, and it's gonna be in different barbershops. Like I'm start doing different barbershops around the city, and then everybody do like an individual 16 while they getting their haircut. Kind of like how people do to hang the mic. Mm-hmm. It's like that. So if no mic hanging, you get your haircut. So that's my own version of that. It's called the Culture. And then, I'm just trying to keep doing that. I got the Village that's still under the same brand, and that's just community service events. Mm-hmm. Like, motherfuckers can make music and perform, and then we, any proceeds or whatever, or donations, we give back to the community, things like that. So I started all that last year, so this year is just about continuing it and growing it to be bigger. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm on right now, shit.
For sure. Last question. What's the goal? What you doing on this? What's the point? What you trying to? Well, not what you trying to, but like, what's your personal goal? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah. I want to take music as far as possible, and with that, where I'm making income off of it, and that income can be used to fund my other goals, such as like I want to have my own. Really, my biggest goal is having my own grocery store one day, and I'm putting in underrepresented communities all over the country, but obviously I'm start in Chicago, because people don't understand that Chicago has so many food deserts. Like, when you growing up and when you was getting up for school and you going to, the corner store and you eating chips with cheese, and it ain't no way in hell motherfuckers should be able to go to a corner store, get chips, meat, motherfucking fruits and vegetables, because it's not good fruits and vegetables and things like that. And that's what's called a food desert. A lot of people in the city, they poor. They don't have cars. They can't get to it. People on the bus, train, whatever. But we should have access to full-fledged grocery stores. It shouldn't be like that one Walmart on 87th or this, that, and the other. That. Like, no, it should be, more frequent. So, ultimately, I want to push my music and my brand and myself as far as possible to the point where I'm a mainstream big artist, and I got so much money that I can do these things to, like, honestly just give back. Mm-hmm. I just want to be rich and be able to give back.
For sure. For sure. That's definitely honorable activities, and I want to be right there with you. I want to be back too. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for real.
For sure. That's dope. I definitely appreciate your time, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we got more conversations ahead of us, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of shit going on. You got
to come down to the podcast too. Let me buy you a drink.
You got to tell me one time. Don Julio.
Bro. And that shit all cool.
For sure. I definitely love to do that. But before you get up out of here, let the people know that they can find you on social media, but they can find the content, where the new EP gonna be dropping, all that good shit.
Like I said, Not a Most High, NAI, The Most High. You can follow me on all platforms, literally every social media. That's my name. Instagram, motherfucking Twitter, YouTube, all that. Well, my YouTube is Most High Presents. My new EP should be dropping spring, summertime, because I'm waiting on the visuals. I'm not doing that shit until everything done. And yeah, catch me live. If you follow me on Instagram, you can join my channel, Most High Trap, and that's where you can learn any shows I got coming up, any podcast interviews I got. My other Instagram is Most High Presents. Yeah, just tap in with me.
For sure, for sure. Well, I definitely appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your
Appreciate you for having me.
evening.
Thank you.
In a minute, gang.